Well, this has nothing to do with my party. My party upholds the constitution of the country, and I also took an oath to defend the constitution of the country, and I think it goes in line with that affirmation. We want to see that the parliamentary practice is carried out faithfully in accordance with the requirement of the constitution. I don't think we are at odds anywhere. I don't have to take orders. I mean, if so long as it is in line with the constitution, so do it, you know. But the other aspect is, as a party member, you remember when the present president of Umno took office, he presented a speech called the President's Speech at the annual General Assembly of the party last year. And he called on those present, the delegates from all over the country, to support his call for the rejection of a backdoor government. And I think they responded resoundingly to this appeal by him and incorporated that in his presidential speech as part of a resolution. And they all unanimously support this resolution. And I also voted for it. And I think it is only fair and proper that we cannot accept a government that is out of line with that resolution. A properly legitimately constituted government. No, because the President emphatically said that we will not be part of a backdoor government. This is a backdoor government, as that's how people refer to it. And you put it in a legal language, you say that this is not a legitimate government. And therefore you cannot support it, because the party has adopted a resolution to say that no backdoor government should be supported. Yes, no, it's not my stance, it's the stance of the party. It's the party that wanted it done this way. Unless they all have forgotten, but I have not forgotten. I have not forgotten. This is where it calls for party unity, because a resolution to adopt the speech by the President was unanimously accepted by the General Assembly, which is the highest decision-making body of the party. Now, are you going to depart from that? I'm purely endorsing what was adopted by the General Assembly.
So, does party unity not exist? I mean,
it does exist.
Seems to be...
It does exist. As far as I'm concerned, I'm endorsing what the party wants to be done.
But for observers, it seems that UMNO has many very weighty figures now.
Well, I'm not the commander of the party, you know, so I can discipline them.
Yes.
But so long as I myself behave and follow the rules, I don't think I will be out of step.
Yes. Are there channels which exist? I mean, you are a party elder, you're a party advisor.
Yes.
What are the channels to make
the Supreme Council and the General Assembly?
Is it not functioning?
It is functioning. People don't follow, that's all. I'm following it. Just because I follow and I say it, and people think that I'm out of step. I don't think so. Those people who don't follow are out of step. They should be thrown out of the party.
National alliance.
I am.
But you objected when...
I didn't object.
PPBM wanted to join. Sorry, then there was the Perikatan.
No, because Muafakat was formed in order to support the cooperation of two Islamic Malay bodies, namely UMNO and PAS. And I think everybody accepts this. It's not against anybody, it's not to fight anybody, except to bring a cooperative effort among these two group of people, which I think is laudable. and it's good. But when they wanted to form this getting together of the two main parties in the country, or big parties in the country, they talk only of Malay and Muslim parties getting together. I objected to another party coming in if it's no longer a fully Malay or fully Islamic party. It goes against the original objective of the formation of this cooperation of the two bodies. But for if another body, which is completely Malay, completely Islamic, why not? You can have another 10, 20. I'm not going to scrutinize, I'm not going to object to it. Yeah. But when another body has officially declared that they're going to open to non-Malays, non-Muslims, and then suddenly you want to change your stance and include others in, well, by all means do it, but please, remember also what you have decided in the beginning when the two of you wanted to get together. I like to stick to what we have decided. Don't you think that's right? I was surprised that there is such a body called Perikatan Nasional. It was never discussed by anybody. Suddenly this name came up, and the new government that was formed was labeled Perikatan Nasional. I don't know where it came from either, and what the objectives are. I don't know what is the composition of Perikatan Nasional. I'm not aware. In fact, I objected to the formation of this party. I said, where is the legitimacy? Before it was finally endorsed. In fact, it was endorsed, I was told later, before I appeared on the scene to present my views. I said, it won't go far, because I'm sure people are not going to support it. As you can see now, the whole country is against it. I'm not making a propaganda out of it. I only get winds from all these people writing to me, phoning me, sending messages. They said, Tengku, what is happening? You better object to this. And I only voice their views. I have not gone around the country or speak to any people outside of my office, other than those that come to see me. So there is a widespread objection to this, because it's a party comprising of 13 members of parliament that succeeded in the last election. It's the weight of one senior politician who were able to convince others to be with them or to support them, to form what was known as the Perikatan Harapan government. So be it, it doesn't matter. Then they started stealing our people. They started stealing our people. It's not 10, it's more than 10 people, they stole. And subverting our party. And even some of our officials were subverted by them. I don't think that is on, you know. I don't think that is on. If we want to fight back, we have to fight back. And it's our survival too, you know. And a lot more people support us. We want biggest number of seats in parliament. To this day, we still are the biggest party in parliament. I mean, you have to respect that and you have to recognize that. But then they're going behind the back and making doing subversive things. I don't think that's good for the stability of the country. That's why there is a lot of goings on because of these happenings. And we object also to them using government apparatus to subvert what is happening in the country. And we object to that. You know what happened in Sabah? There shouldn't be a state election. But the election in the state of Sabah was more or less forced on to that government. That's why there was a state election. And you had this COVID-19 scare because everybody was free to go there in order to make sure that bersatu wins the election. They even fielded candidates against our candidates, although we give them support and help. And they even stole our seats. I mean, what kind of politics is this? And for us to sit down and say yes, I don't like to use rude words, but I think enough is enough. And when this motion comes up in Parliament, don't you think we should sit up and think of what the future would be for the country? We must bring stability to our country. That is very important, because without stability, there's no confidence. And no confidence, there's no money coming in for investments. And there's no money going back for reinvestments, even within the country. No jobs, no subsidiary investments. And that's not good for the country. We need jobs for our people, for the young people, people who've been retrenched. And we cannot just allow things to happen as they please. Cannot. It's all for somebody's stomach and somebody's personal ego, personal pride. We're talking about the country, and we're facing the pandemic, and we're facing an economic recession. It's a very serious thing. It has never happened before. And I think, please, let's be serious. Let's do something. It's not important. It's not important. I think it's because of the threat posed by Pakatan Harapan during 2018 election. We lost all the Chinese votes. So the reaction to that caused us to band together and seek some strength in order to protect any more erosion to the support that we were enjoying. I think it's just a question of wanting to remain where we are, at least, so that we will not be subverted further. And I think the birth of Perikatan Nasional is the result of this threat on the Malay community. You know, the ISET rally and all that. There's a run-up to that. Have some sense knocked into ourselves to make sure that this is a country for all Malaysians. But then when it comes to a push, and when you are confronted with a situation like this, the first thing that you react again is, how do you survive against this threat? And people take a defensive line. And the defensive line is for us to get together in order to defend our position. And that's what's happened. It shouldn't have happened, because after all, it's Perikatan Nasional. It's a coalition of parties from various races, although it may look very communal. But the front that is presented to the country, you see what we have in the country. Peace, we have development, we have progress. You can compare with other developing countries in the world. We have done very well, exceedingly well, no matter what people say. At least you have your wife, your children going to school, going to market. You need not worry, you know, that they'll be kidnapped or they'll be harassed on the way to or on the way back. I mean, we take for granted things are going to be okay. And food supply is always there at reasonable prices. This is something we take for granted happening in our country. May not be so in other countries, in other developing countries. So all these things happen because of the fear that things are going to change and going to change for the worse.
And what would you say to the demographic who shifted away from BN to call them back, basically? What would you say to them?
Well, I think they should rethink and come back. We have done well before, as there's no reason why we cannot do well. again. I have very confident. That's why I've not shifted my ground.
Yeah.
I have very strong faith in what we are fighting for. Maybe one or two people may have gone off and did things which some people don't like. I mean, we have laws to take care of that. But not everybody is going to behave the way you expect them to behave. If a God send down laws and people break those laws even.
Tun Mahathir has mooted the idea of a unity government.
Yes.
Datuk Sri Anwar says he has the numbers.
Yes.
Do you think the best solution is to dissolve parliament?
I think that is the best thing.
What if?
To give back the mandate to the people. Let the people decide what kind of government they want and who they should pick.
Yeah. What if we return a hung parliament?
Well, we'll try again. We'll try again.
There's also this perception that maybe there can be an interim government. And if that eventuality actually came about and the role fell on you, would you take it?
Oh, let's see. It's not an easy time, you know. It's not the most wonderful time to have a position of responsibility.